so serious why I wouldn't buy one particular manufacturer at a certain age. So I'll just call this, GMC. Why I wouldn't buy a GMC at a certain year. And then, I'll finish the GMC in one video, and then I'll do a Ford, and then I'll do a Ram for y'all, okay? So, since I said GMC on this one, here we go. I'm going to start with the relevant ones, because if you do prior to 17 on a Duramax, it's kind of irrelevant, because it's just off the curve. Yes, I know they're phenomenal trucks, but it's kind of off the grid for me. So let's start with the L5P in 2017 through the 2019. The reason I would not buy that setup is for the cab. Outside of that, guys, it is a nice, stout setup. You have a good engine. Yes, the little I shouldn't say weak, but less desired stuff, but they don't leave you high and dry, right? Probably the two things that come to mind is the oil cooler, oil capacity. I cringe how little amount of oil that motor takes. So a little deeper oil pan, a little bigger oil filter they sell now, and you're fine with that. The transmission is a solid Allison. Love it. Stout, good setup. And I've personally owned one of those trucks. And what's the problem with the cab? It's just small. I'm a father of 4 kids. My wife and my kids. We all do it. We load up the kids in the back. It's just not enough space, man. It's for the time, for a 2017 through 19, the Ram and the Ford have a better solution as far as cabs go. And sound deadening. I don't know what's up with that cab. I had a middle of the road one, the fake leather one. It wasn't a Denali, but it was, I want to say it was an LT something, but anyways, Bose system. It was just in the Ram world, it was a Laramie, right? And the Ford world, it was a Lariat. Good, practical truck. It was a good truck, A guy bought it for $44,000. He still drives it. I see him once in a blue moon. It's kind of a unique truck, the way it sits. Anyways, the guy's still rocking the Chevy wheels that's on that GMC. I guess when I got it off an auction, when someone put it in on auction, they pulled the aftermarket wheels and threw on whatever they get their hands on, and there was some raggedy tires on them wheels. Anyways, so I do have personal experience with that. Now the 2020 through 23, either 22 or 23, that was another section. I heard a lot of good things about the motors. I've test drove several of them. Motor's never an issue for me. The transmission is this big question. Yes, they upgraded the cab, but it's a joke. A big no-no to the cab. The dash is very similar. It doesn't bother me. It's behind of its time, but it doesn't bother me. But the cab is just a big deal breaker for me on that one. And obviously the 10-speed transmission in that Chevy, you're going to scream and Ford's the same thing. Yeah, they developed them the same, but in the nitty-gritty, Ford's holding up and they're paying up for things that need to be improved. They're giving you bare minimum versus Chevy won't even give you that. So we'll leave that conversation. And that's why I wouldn't buy that area. Now, the 24s and up, the Ultimates are really, really cool interiors, really good-looking interiors. Visually, aesthetically, everything's cool, They've came forward and they've implemented quite a few things. A couple things I don't really agree with. No 12-volt sockets in there. None of these guys. Come on, guys. Don't outdo yourself now. People still need their 12-volt sockets. You're not that modernized. You're not living in space age. Anyways, but it's just it's not a deal breaker for me. It's just kind of like, really? Mr. Designer or developer, that's where your head was at? How to save a penny so you could look modern or whatever. That's just retardation. Same thing. Not too impressed with the cab. They did improve a few things. The cab's a big thing for me. Father of 4 kids, right? Transmission hasn't been really improved much. Not anything less. Only heard more issues with the newer ones. So that's a deal breaker for me. So that's it. Do I hate GM? No. I think GM has the best ride quality, and speaks for itself. When I got